Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video is going to be a spoiler-free review of The City of Gold by Alice Santia. I received a digital copy of this book by the author in exchange for an honest review. So let's go ahead and get started. So The City of Gold is a fantasy novel, and it follows the story of a princess named Arabella. And Arabella is the princess of the Kingdom of Velamont. And she is the only daughter of the King of Velamont, and he sends her as a political diplomat to the Kingdom of Elysia. Now the Kingdom of Elysia is in very high tension with the Kingdom of Joram. They are not getting along, and it's very possible that a war will break out between the two kingdoms, and it's possible that if this war breaks out, that her own kingdom, the Kingdom of Velamont, will get caught in the middle. Obviously, that's not something that neither her nor her father want to happen, because they believe that this could be resolved peacefully and there is absolutely no reason for a war to break out. So Arabella is sent by her father to the Kingdom of Elysia in order to talk terms of peace between the Kingdom of Elysia and the Kingdom of Joram. However, on her journey over to the Kingdom of Elysia, she and her escorts are attacked in what they initially believe are soldiers of the Kingdom of Joram. However, she and her escorts manage to escape into the Kingdom of Elysia, and so this is where the story starts. Alright, so I actually really enjoyed this book. This book is very fast-paced, it's very action-packed, and I actually really liked Arabella. Arabella is a strong female character. She is not only strong enough to defend herself, but she is also actually very intellectually smart. She is able to hold a court and able to keep the king's attention and able to lay down what her thoughts are and what her conditions are. She is able to hold her own. She doesn't need anyone else helping her there, and she also is able to hold up on her own in a fight, as she demonstrates several times throughout this book. Initially, I thought it was very weird for a king to send his only heir, his only daughter, to a different kingdom in order to talk terms. He could have easily sent someone else as his political ambassador, but he chose his daughter, and I thought that was very strange. However, throughout the book, I understood his decision, because Arabella, she is a very strong character. The book is, as I said, is fast-paced. It's moving constantly from one scene to the next. I was never personally bored reading this book. I was always turning the page, wanting to read more of this book, wanting to find out what happens. We see a lot of glimpses into the court life. We see a lot of scenes where Arabella's in court trying to convince the King of Elysia to perhaps make a peace treaty with the Kingdom of Joram. So not only are we seeing a lot of action with battles and fights and stuff like that, we are also seeing a lot of the political side of the story, which is something I actually really enjoyed, because I feel like a lot of the fantasy books that I read, I don't get to see much of the political life of a kingdom. Now, while I really enjoyed this book, the characters, the plot, etc., there were several things that I did not enjoy and that really bothered me about this book, and it is the reason why I gave the rating that I gave. And one of those things that really bugged me about this book is the immense amount of grammar errors. This book is riddled with them. This is my notes from this book, and I dedicated like one whole page to the amount of grammar errors that are in this book, and this is just a few of them. There was at one point that I was like, forget it, I don't want to write anymore. It's just a lot of grammar errors. It's not bad where you don't understand what's happening. It's a lot of little things here and there that really bugged me. For example, instead of using the word lose as in L-O-S-E, she uses the word loose, which is L-O-O-S-E. And that is a common grammar error that a lot of people commit, but I would expect as a published author to not do this mistake, and it's something that really bothers me. Another that I tend to see is that when she is referring to here, as in the place here, H-E-R-E, she instead writes for here, as in hearing, she writes H-E-A-R. She's just switching out the words for the incorrect word. I am not by any means a grammar Nazi, but this is a published work, and I feel like she should have done a little bit more to proofread her book. Those are are just some of the mistakes. There's also a lot of weird sentence structures. She also uses this sentence a lot, in where she says that they made an attempt to her life. It should be they made an attempt on her life. So she keeps switching out the to and the on. It's just, like I said, it's not grammar errors where you're just not understanding what the heck is going on. You're perfectly clearly understanding what is happening in the world, but she is just switching out these words. That is one of the biggest factors as to why I rated so low as I did. I actually gave this book 3 stars, and mostly because of that. Another thing that I wasn't too keen on about this book is the fact sometimes it moves a little too fast. As I said, this book is very fast paced, and I really enjoy that about a book. However, there were some scenes where it just kept jumping. And for example, I'll give you an example without spoiling anything. As I said in the beginning, you are thrown in an action scene where she is attacked on her way to the kingdom of Elysia, and she fights back, and they are able to escape. And then just like that, the scene ends. There's just no flow, and all of a sudden she is already tucked in her bed in her room, ready for the next day. There is just no flow between some of the scenes. That is something that I felt she could have done better. She could have constructed some of these scenes to flow a little bit better. Something else that I wasn't too crazy about, there is a sort of like a love triangle in this book, which Arabella becomes interested in both the captain of the guards and the prince itself of Elysia. However, I don't know if she meant to be a love triangle, because we hardly ever see one of the love interests. Arabella spends most of her time with one particular love interest. One of the things that I really did like is that the love kind of builds. It's not like Arabella just all of a sudden is in love. There's no insta love in this book, which I very much appreciate. But I'm very confused about the love triangle, because I don't know if the author meant for it to be a love triangle, because we hardly ever see one of the love interests. So that is something that I wish was a little bit more clear. Is this a love triangle or not? Because if you're going to do a love triangle, we should definitely be seeing a lot more of the love interest, in which we hardly ever did. So overall, I really enjoyed this book immensely, even though I did rate it 3 stars, but the 3 stars was mainly because of the grammar errors, which really personally very much bothered me. But overall, I really liked the book, especially the ending. The ending had a plot twist that was very cliche. However, I didn't see it coming, and it kind of left you in a cliffhanger, and I was like, okay, now what happens? So I'm definitely picking up the second book in the series, mostly because I am very interested to see what happens to Arabella. She is just such a great character. Anyway guys, if you would like to check out more information on this book, I will leave the link down below for the Goodreads page, as well as the Amazon link. Anyway, thank you so much for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope to see you guys on my next one. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye!